Chapter 2, The Luck Fairy. I've always considered myself an extremely lucky person. To clarify, anytime I mention the word luck in this audiobook, I am referring to skill and preparation meeting opportunities. If I were to write it out on paper, my equation for luck would look something like this: skill plus preparation plus opportunity equals luck. Easy enough, right? I'm not the first to think of this idea. Initially, I heard it from a friend who heard it from another friend who, somewhere along the line, read the words of Roman philosopher Seneca. He said it like this: luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. I like to add the skill part in there of this original theory because I've seen several very skilled artists think that preparation is not needed. They just sit around waiting for opportunity to knock on their door to no avail. They believe that talent will take them wherever they need to go with little to no effort. Unfortunately, this typically doesn't work out in their favor. On the other hand, I've witnessed artists with little skill work hard in preparation for an opportunity that eventually came because they were willing to put in the work. Being born with an artistic eye is not enough. I've had a number of fantastic opportunities presented to me throughout my career. Frustratingly, I cannot tell you how often I've been told, must be nice to have this happen for you, or you're so lucky to be put in this position. I used to think that luck was a cop-out or that it discredited my effort and skill. However, after hearing it so many times throughout my life, I've decided to change my mindset about luck. And I challenge you to do the same. Let's not think about luck as a special gift only given to a select few. Instead, let's view it as what happens when skill and preparation meet opportunities. Even the most talented of individuals need opportunity. After all, skill and preparation without opportunities can be disheartening and demoralizing for artists. You can be the most skilled and prepared sculptor, but if opportunities are never presented, you may not have a chance to show off your talent. Unfortunately, some artists spend years building their skill set just to be faced with zero opportunity to develop their talent into a career. And personally, I can't relate to this, but I do empathize. If you find yourself relating more closely to those who never win anything and the universe just doesn't seem to be on your side, well, you're in luck. We're going to review some ways in which you can create your own luck and make opportunities happen for you. I'm here to show you how to insert yourself into situations and say the right things to make a career in the industry happen for you. Throughout my 20s, people would comment on how much ambition I had. They would also speculate that my art skills would be outstanding by the time I was older due to how early I started. Honestly, I do feel lucky to have marked so many things on my professional bucket list so quickly. I often wonder if I've been given this luck so that I can give it away to you by writing. My hope is that my good luck will, in some way, seep through the pages like watered down paint and spill out onto your fingers and drip down your wrists, where it can make its way past your arms and stain your body with permanent luck. Here's another way to look at it. I like to imagine that there is a such thing as a luck fairy. Stick with me here, but your personal luck fairy can be an object like a crystal or a spirit or any other magical mental image you see when you close your eyes. You can make up your own version of the luck fairy and design it however you want, or you can be basic like me and imagine it as your very own Tinkerbell-like creature. I imagine that our luck fairies are not with us at all times. Rather, they fly around looking for people who are preparing and refining their skills. The luck fairy only visits you every once in a while and is waiting to catch you in a moment where you are showing dedication to your craft. You see, the luck fairy wants you to show through actions that you really want the future you have wished for. It's not enough to just wish. When it sees you taking actionable steps towards your goals, the luck fairy will sprinkle just a bit of luck your way to help you get started. And yes, I imagine this luck as fairy dust, but your version can be whatever it is you want it to be. Magic, the luck fairy, and all of that good juju stuff requires action. And I'm not telling you this so that you will solely rely on making wishes to make your dreams career happen. Instead, I'm telling you this to encourage you to take those first steps in the right direction. Steps will help you with. In my experience, being consistent in taking action has generated all the magic and luck I've needed to succeed. In Chapter 1, you pinpointed your goals and determined the direction you want to go for your career. What can you do right now that will set you up for success later? What small steps can you take towards your goals? What is the one action that you can start doing right this second? Because remember, the luck fairy has to see that you are genuinely wanting what you have wished for before you are graced with a sprinkle of luck. We'll review some essential steps that you can take to begin heading down the right path for your dream career in art. For example, I'll teach you how all about networking and meeting individuals who can open doors of opportunities for you. Another first step you can take is to refine and establish your art skills so that when opportunities arise, you are prepared to face them head on. Just say yes. I don't want to contradict myself by saying that action is everything. I do believe there's some kind of magic in just saying your goals out loud or even writing them down. I think there's a higher power that wants our dreams to come true, whether you call it the universe, God, love, or something else entirely. I can sense that something magical wants us to achieve all of our desires. As a personal example and testimony, I distinctly remember walking through a local popular outdoors and sporting goods store and observing the artwork on the building's interior. For legal reasons, I'm not going to mention the store by its actual name, but for the sake of this book, we'll refer to the company as the Outdoor Store. I was in college at the time of this visit and was admiring the store's vast artwork. The paintings on the walls portrayed images of wildlife, along with the land and water habitats. Amazed by the massive murals, I was impressed by how the artists knew to use their expertise to make the brand so aesthetically pleasing. Everything just flowed together. I said out loud, "This is the perfect job, painting wildlife art scenes for this store." However, I also reminded myself that somebody else had already completed the paintings and there was really no more work to be done in my eyes. Subconsciously, I put the goal into the universe and decided then that that's what I wanted. This was my ideal job and workplace. Although I didn't think much of it, after simply saying it out loud, I thought of it more as like a hope or a wish. It was something I could never attain because I just honestly didn't think it was possible. I eventually applied my small amount of business knowledge to file for an LLC for my newly established painting company. I knew to file for an LLC from my previous entrepreneurial experiences in college. Before painting full-time, I worked as a promotional model and eventually started my own little side business. My business included employing other promo girls to work under me as a team. We were those women passing out shots at the bars to promote the liquor labels and working the booths to represent major brands at big events. We even worked the Super Bowl one year. This first business of mine taught me quite a bit about being a business owner with employees. Leading promo girls often felt like herding cats, if I'm being honest. Really pretty cats with a faint smell of hairspray trailing behind them. On the bright side, those promo experiences were so much fun, and they taught me how to successfully implement promotional techniques like posting on social media that I would later apply to my future art business. My first business also taught me the importance of filing for an LLC in order to be taken seriously by the government. To get a little bit of business lingo in here, the term LLC is an abbreviation for a limited liability company. Filing your business as an LLC has a few benefits, including separating yourself from your company. This provides you with a barrier of protection against being sued by a customer if, heaven forbid, you or an employee makes a big mistake. Rather than suing you as an individual and taking everything you have, they would be suing your LLC. And through that, you can also apply for an EIN number. And this will allow you to file your taxes through your business rather than under your personal name. Most states have an avenue to file for your LLC through the Secretary of State's website. And disclaimer, each state within the United States has a different way of doing this and different costs associated to this. So it's really going to depend on where you reside. But in Missouri, this was the best step for me. The first name for my painting business that came to mind was the Springfield Painting Company. As straightforward as that was, it didn't have an appealing ring to it. After further discussion with my mom and her friends, I landed on Paint It Red LLC for the name of my imaginary business. With my red hair and love for painting, it was the perfect title for my aesthetic, right? Although I still use the original name, I've recently switched my branding to go by Art by Andrea. I would highly advise you to choose and settle on your business title now to keep it simple and streamlined. If you can't decide what it should be, then simply use a version of your name. I am a big advocate of this. After filing for an LLC for Paint It Red, I began to go after painting projects around town. Springfield, Missouri was my canvas, and it was a rather blank one, actually. In fact, one of my first ever painting projects came from a business owner I had met through my promotional modeling business. His name was Lynn, and I was supplying promo girls for his event when he mentioned that he also needed some artwork completed to promote that same event. Lynn had just purchased a new building and wanted some promotional window art and a logo painted on the side of the building facing his busy street. This would be my first ever logo project for a business. I remember speaking with Lynn and being honest about my artistic abilities. During that conversation, I let him know that I could do whatever he wanted me to do, but I had no idea how to actually do it yet. I reassured him that I would figure it out. Luckily, he had the utmost trust in me. Lynn believed in my confidence and entrusted me with their building's logo, even though I openly told him that I had no idea what I was doing. As I was painting, Lynn encouraged me to post the projects to social media. I was already familiar with using social media as an advertising tool from my experience conducting promos for other brands. Therefore, I knew it was vital for me to begin posting my art for the world to see. I posted the beginning, middle, and end stages of painting that very first logo. From that social media post, I landed another job with yet another person I had previously worked with through my promotional modeling business. Kyle needed a logo painted on the side of his barn. And again, I was honest with my customer and told him that I hadn't quite gotten a grip on this whole large-scale painting thing yet, but I reassured him that I would give it my best shot. Those early painting experiences taught me what to do and most importantly, what not to do. All as well. And although the paintings came out just fine in the end, it's kind of hard for me to look at them today. I could blatantly see every small mistake, and it has taken me several years of painting for me to not cringe at past projects. I got my start by simply saying yes to any job that came my way that required a paintbrush, logos, anything. It's funny how magic works. Not long after I painted just a couple of the logos, my efforts caught the eye of a store in need of an artist. Do you remember the store with the breathtaking wildlife murals that initially inspired me to take the first steps into my large-scale painting career? Through networking, I was being recommended as an artist to the one and only outdoor store. The one I had so longingly said out loud months prior was the perfect canvas for me. Mark was another promo customer, and his main job happened to be working at the outdoor store. I had no idea that there was even a position open or a spot that needed to be filled until he explained that their current logo artist was quitting. They needed a replacement artist. I had established a positive business relationship with Mark after helping him promote a snack chip that he invented. It was a side business for him, and we passed out samples in grocery stores, and we even landed a spot on the local news. He knew my work ethic and gave me a 5-star glowing review while referring me to the hiring manager. He went above and beyond to mentor me about when to call, what to say, and how to negotiate a rate. I was so thankful because at this point, I still had no idea what I wanted to do in the art world. I just knew that painting big sounded really fun. Again, I was just saying yes to anything that involved a paintbrush. I interviewed a couple days later with the outdoor store, and the conversation was really quick. The interviewer was very direct and asked me if I could paint lettering, logos, ghost signs, and images that looked really aged. And of course, I said yes. He then asked if I had anything to show him. So I proceeded to flip through my college art projects and the few logos I had recently painted around town. Thinking back on this moment, I'm shocked that he went forward with the interview at all. I was still a novice, and this was reflected in my early art projects. I'm sure Mark's glowing review and recommendation and my persistent confidence was the thing that landed me a contract. Nonetheless, he didn't skip a beat and proceeded to discuss payment. He asked me to get back to him with an hourly dollar amount. He didn't expect me to give him a number right then and there, but I had been prepared with an answer since before the interview even started. I stopped him and said, "I'd like $60 an hour, please." Mark had prepared me for this question and had told me to ask for $60 an hour. He told me that they would likely counter with $40 an hour if I went so high. So that is what immediately came out of my mouth at the very mention of money. compensation and money was such an awkward conversation for me at the time. I wanted to get that part of the interview over with as soon as possible. I was curious about what his counteroffer might be. Would he really pay me that much? It's difficult to describe the look the interviewer gave me at that point. His gaze said, "So you really think you're worth that much, kid?" At the time, I was charging around $30 an hour for my artwork and was very happy with that wage. I honestly would have been content with just about anything that he offered, honestly. And the interview concluded with him asking me when I could start. That question told me everything that I needed to know. It told me that I was getting hired. He was less than pleased when I told him that I could start right after I returned from my 5-week European backpacking adventure that would start the following week. However, since I came so highly recommended, he begrudgingly accepted my timeline. Although I received the official contract just a couple weeks later, I felt an overwhelming rush of joy when I left that office. Ironically, years prior, I had been fired from a job within that same company, within the same office building where my interview took place. I worked in the call center of the outdoor store, which was a dreadfully unentertaining position where I didn't listen to the rules. Thus, they let me go. I don't blame them. I blame my own immaturity and the boredom that came with, being in a job in a position that didn't fulfill me in the least. Sorry. But perhaps that is why I became so emotional the day of my interview. I was being hired for a dream job by the company that had fired me years prior. And on top of that, I was about to make more money doing what I truly loved. The irony. The outdoor store ended up hiring me as a calligrapher, which was something I only kind of knew what to do. Like I said, I had just started dabbling in logo painting and lettering, like barely. And in the interview, I had stated that I could paint anything. And I meant it. I was anything but a pro, but I was up for the challenge of learning as I went. The trick of requesting $60 from the beginning paid off. Upon receiving my contract, I read that I was being offered $45 an hour. I felt lucky that Mark had coached me through what wage to ask for from the start. And still to this day, I can remember him saying, "Congratulations, kid. You're now making $100,000 a year." This was a pivotal moment in my life. I was going to be paid $100K a year to use a paintbrush. This is the power of taking the time to establish a skill and then just saying yes. If you liked this chapter preview of my book, Mural Money, this is just a small snippet of my 15 plus hour audio version of my book. And it is available at muralmoney.com. The Mural Money book, I wrote this about 3 years ago or so, and I put my all into it. Man, I just slept, breathed writing for a solid, I want to say about 6 full months. It took me to write this book, and I've gotten so much good feedback on it, but more, I'm just so excited that this is a time capsule of a time when I was able to record everything that it took to go from 0 to 100K and all the lessons in between and all the silly mistakes and the funny stories and just the nostalgia of it. But it's there to help you in the beginning of your mural journey. Go from 0 or just starting to paint murals, or maybe you're in the middle of it and you need some help just getting to that next level. I share everything in that book of the tips and tricks that I use to gain new customers and pitch myself, and a lot of tips from guests from this podcast. I took the best of the best and I took it and summarized it and gave them credit and put them in the book. And it's a really great comprehensive how to mural from 0 to 100 step by step. You can go to muralmoney.com and you can pick up the physical copy or the Audible. I think they're $25-ish, or you can get the audio version for just $17 if you buy directly from me at muralmoney.com. So the audio version, muralmoney.com, just $17, and it's 15 plus hours of mural inspiration, as you heard. So if you're amazed by what you heard, go to muralmoney.com. And yeah, I'll see you next week for another episode of the Artist Academy podcast.